Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Christian Ballard Sports Media. We are live here on Tuesday, the 17th. If you're a Psych fan, you probably know what that is. If you're not a Psych fan, uh, unfriend me right now. So I'm just kidding. No, but today I wanted to look at some bowl games, take some questions in the chat. I'm not really going to drop the link. Just wanted to come on here for a little bit, try to find some time this week to talk some of these games up because we do have bowl games starting tonight, I believe. With well, we've already had them start, but like for example, we have games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then obviously Friday, Saturday, not Sunday. But going on Saturday with the first round playoff games, going to be very interesting to see what these teams do. Obviously, I think the most exciting game for me personally is going to be that Tennessee Ohio State game in Columbus. I think that could be a really good game uh, matchup. I've made my picks. I do think Tennessee wins it close. It's almost a 50-50 game there. You got Texas and Clemson. I think Texas wins that game big. I could go down the list. A lot of people pick Notre Dame and South Bend. They host Indiana. I think Indiana and Curtis Rourke are on a mission this year, and they didn't come this far to get to the first round just to lose. And I think that Notre Dame, even though they've looked good since the loss to Northern Illinois, I think they still got their flaws too. I got to take an upset somewhere, and I would take Indiana there. And then Penn State, SMU. I think a lot of people are on the same page taking Penn State over the Mustangs. But just to kind of show you where we stand, and I'm probably not the only one up there, but we do rank number one uh, in the Bowl Mania Challenge. What's up, Nate? I see you in the comments. Will Nebraska win its first bowl games uh, since 2015? It's possible. Who do they play, actually? Let me see. South Florida Navy. They play Boston College. I got Nebraska winning that one. I got Nebraska winning that one big time over Boston College. I don't think Boston College is that team we saw at the beginning of the year. I don't really like Bill O'Brien as a head coach. I just don't like that thought or idea. I think he is a good offensive mind, but I think he should have stayed in the NFL. But that's just my personal opinion with that. So let me actually do this for y'all. And yeah, I'm just here. I just had the camera off, but so this is what we have so far, folks. We have Jackson State. We picked over South Carolina State, and they ended up winning the other day, 28-7. That's one of our wins. South Alabama, just because I wanted to pick the in-state teams to start out. I didn't really know too much about these games, but South Alabama almost lost this game. Came down to the wire defensively. In South Alabama, 30-23 over Western Michigan are the two matches we got correct so far. We are 2-0, a perfect record. What we need tonight, we need West Virginia to beat Memphis. I want to kind of change that, but I think West Virginia, like, here's the thing about West Virginia for me. They just hired Rich Rodriguez, right? Neil Brown's gone, everything like that. Okay. I'm not sure about their interim coach, and I know Memphis is the better team, but they got good talent, even on defense at West Virginia. They just have had, I guess, a little bit of offensive struggles. But I think with Rich Rod coming in, even if he's not coaching in this game here, which I'm going to be honest, I don't know. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think of who the interim guy is. But either way, I would say this. They're going to be a great team under Rich Rod. I think it's a great hire. And I think this program is looking forward to it. you could look at this one of two ways tonight. Either they're going to win knowing what their future holds and they want to show that they belong, or they're going to lose because they're caught up in looking ahead to the Rich Rodriguez era. And that's why they probably do lose this game. Now, I say all that. Memphis is definitely the better team. They're a 4.5 point favorite. But I gotta pull, man. I got some Mountaineers in this community, man. I do. I gotta pull for the Mountaineers here. I like Anthony Wilson, who leads in tackles and interceptions. He carries the defense. But they got guys out there like Trey Lathan, Tyron Bradley, Josiah Trotter. I could go down the list. When you look at it, and their defense has got 5 picks on the year, one of them for a touchdown, their longest of 79 yards for an interception return. In interception return yards, they are at 101. And I know that compared to other teams out there, it might not be all that great, but it's not a bad start to kind of look at their defense and how they're built. They love to rush. They love to play man to man, and I think that that's going to be key in this game tonight. But at the same time, they got to go out there and they got to do their own thing. They just have to. So I I could easily see Memphis winning this game, but I'm telling you, there are some sleeper teams out there this fall season, and I think West Virginia is one of them. I really do. Other games we got tomorrow night. Or what time is this at? 4:30. This is in Central Time or Eastern Time. I don't know. Let me double check this. It doesn't say what time, but either way, James Madison in Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky has looked pretty good this year. Obviously, the first game of the Kalen DeBoer era this year for the Alabama Crimson Tide. They didn't really give that a game, but I feel like they've bounced back in some ways since that Week 1 loss. They've lost other games. But at the same time, losing to Jacksonville State, they just don't have the offense to really compete with other teams out there. I do like Veltkamp, but I also like Alonzo Barnett for James Madison. And I like their lead receiver in Yamir Knight, sorry. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year, 567 receiving yards is what he leads in. This is going to be at Boca Raton, Florida, and the Boca Raton Bowl. 4:30 tonight, Central Time, 5:30 Eastern, and Boca Raton, Florida. Should be some storms. Might be a little bit of a delay. I'm not sure, but we'll keep an eye on that, I guess. I said tonight. I meant to say tomorrow night at 5:30. So keep an eye on this game. This could be good. James Madison, I'll pick them, but I think again this could be one of those intriguing matchups that could go either way. Cal and UNLV. UNLV was kind of one of our super dogs on the touchdown show this year that, I think Mayhem had picked Boise State. I had picked UNLV. Fantastic, fantastic season for the Rebels. They're 10-3, playing a 6-6 Cal team. Again, some of these games like this is the Art of Sport LA Bowl. Could go either way. They think it's going to be really close. It's a 1 point spread right now. It opened at 1.5. It comes down to 1. Uh, what I like about UNLV though is Jaden Thomas in the run game. 846 yards on the ground. He's very fast. He's electric with the football. Can hurdle some guys a little bit. He's really, really talented. I think their run game is going to play a factor. I think the Cal defense has had some issues this year when you look at it. And I think that there's going to be some moments where maybe they get a big play downfield. UNLV does. And I just think that, another thing, can they recover some fumbles? Cal has had 10 fumbles on the year. They've only lost 3 of them, but they're 12th in turnover ratio. So, and they've had 91 penalties. Cal's had some issues. I think Cal is like they're a really good team, but they make a lot of mistakes. The talent's there. They do a good job on the field. They make big plays, but then they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit. And ultimately that that causes um that causes them to stumble, and it causes them to be in positions that they're in this year. Year 1 of the ACC, they looked okay. I don't see how a 6-6 Cal is gonna pull up an upset. I mean, it could happen. I say anything can happen and probably will happen in a bowl game or so, but Imma roll with the Rebels here. I really am. Not gonna break all these down, but Georgia Southern and Sam Houston could go either way. Imma roll with Georgia Southern here. Well, I can change it up till 6 o'clock on Thursday. Sam Houston's a dang good football team. They're really good in FCS. Georgia Southern too, though. I don't know. I'll keep it on Georgia Southern, but I might end up changing that one. Uh, this was when I was in a mood to like pick all the Bama teams, but I think Ohio might beat Jacksonville State. Possibly. I really don't know. Um, but I'll say this. This is the Cure Bowl. Uh, the spread's 3 points. It's a almost 50-50 game, but no one's really taking it. This is in Orlando on the 20th this weekend on Friday morning at 11 a.m. Central Time. I do like Tyler Huff. I like Trey Stewart for Jacksonville State. One of the better group of 5 teams, I think, this year, and they played and finished off against Western Kentucky 52-12. I just think they come in with a lot of momentum. They lost to Western Kentucky 19-17. One of their losses was Louisville, Eastern Michigan, Coastal Carolina. Those are good teams. Is that my phone? Hold on. All right. Sorry about that. I, I said I'll call after. Said I'm doing a show. It was important, but it's not like it was work or anything, I guess. But anyway, back to some of these games. Jacksonville State, Ohio. I'm gonna take Jacksonville State. This one actually interesting. I think a lot of people are big on Florida right now. Tulane and Florida. This is on Friday, 2:30. I can't wait to watch this game. This will be a good game. I think this one could still go either way because you don't know what Florida you're going to get. I think people look at the last 3 games for Florida though with FSU obviously, but Ole Miss and LSU were close, but they found a way to win and play good defense at the end of the game. And DJ Lagway has come in and he's looked really, really good. Over 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns, 7 picks. I look at this Gasparilla Bowl. I look at Florida being closer to home than Tulane is. It's a 14-point spread. I would take Florida in the points straight up because I just look at um I look at this Florida Tulane game that it's like Florida's in a little bit of a better position than Tulane is. Florida represents the SEC. They know that. They decided not to fire Billy Napier. And this back half of the season has actually gone their way. They've won 3 straight. They played Georgia close up until the end, and then they did lose to Texas, but, like, Florida's 5 losses are not bad losses, I don't think. I mean, Miami's not a bad team, but you did lose at home in a blowout. You did lose at home to A&M. You did lose on the road to Tennessee. I'll give you grace there. I guess of all these losses, like, I just would say that losing in a blowout to Miami and then losing at home to A&M is probably not the best thing to happen to Florida, but the way they've responded and bounced back throughout the season, I think is very important, for them. So I think they're on a roll. I think Billy let me say this. I don't think Billy Napier is necessarily building something, but I think he's got this year's team at least in the right mindset going into this matchup. So I would take them to win. I'm not ready to say that he's building something in Gainesville. I'm not ready to say that he's, give him a lifetime contract for Florida or anything. Obviously, we don't want to do that, but it's something's happening at the moment. And if you're Florida, you don't want to miss that opportunity. And you just need one more win this year to go 8-5. And I think that'd be an okay record. Okay, now we get into the playoff games here. I ended up picking Indiana over Notre Dame. That could go either way. I had to pick an upset somewhere in these playoffs, and I expect a close game. At the moment, I want Indiana. I'd like to see Notre Dame finally win a playoff game, and they probably will and prove me wrong. But I think Indiana, I think they're that team on a mission this year, not necessarily for a title game appearance or a national title overall. Or, I mean, obviously, everyone in the playoffs is on the hunt for that, right? And they're on the radar. But Indiana's like really, really good. I love Curtis Rourke. I think that they're in a good position. I think that Indiana probably going to play it close. I like the defense of Notre Dame, but again, in big games, they do struggle at times. Notre Dame has not lost since that game against Northern Illinois. They did credit to them. They beat teams like Georgia Tech, who they're better than. They beat A&M, who they're better than. They beat Florida State. Everybody did. I do like the Army win, and I like the SC win. USC kind of fell off a bit. Army, no disrespect whatsoever. Thank you for your service. But I really like, do we look at that Army game at home? Yes, they were ranked, they were 19th. Army's a great team, but 49-14, I think Army just got in their own way. I'm not trying to put Notre Dame down, and I'm not saying at all that they could not win this game. I just think personally, I would take Indiana at the moment because I think they're on a roll. I just like how they play offense. I like Kurt Signegi. I just love all that. I love Marcus Freeman too, but come on. Somebody's got to win this game. It's kind of here's the thing about this game too. Like, you got Notre Dame who's 0-2 in the playoffs, or what are they? 0-3? They haven't made a title since 2012, but they've kind of knocked on the door a little bit. And then you got Indiana. Well, who's to say Indiana's going to be this good next year? We don't know. They could, and I hope they are. We'll do team previews in the off season, starting late January. But this is this is make or break for either team. Indiana, because they might not have another year like this, and Notre Dame, because of all the crap they've had to face, not being able to win the big one, not being able to win a playoff game, not being able to make it every year, the whole deal about having to go undefeated because they don't play in a conference. Notre Dame needs this, but if I had to pick who I think possibly wins, I go Indiana. Penn State over SMU. I take that. I mean, Clemson beat SMU. SMU 2 losses, could bounce back, but Penn State's on a roll. This is a whiteout at noon, but I mean, it's a whiteout. James Franklin's going to have Tyler Warren and company ready. Nick Singleton, Drew Aller. We think Drew Aller. I don't know his health stat. I don't really know the health status of any of these playoff teams at the moment, to be honest. I don't know if anyone's announced anything, but I think Penn State be ready for this game. I do. Texas over Clemson. I just think Texas is too loaded. Tennessee, Ohio State's the big one. Could go either way. I'm kind of picking back and forth here. I don't know, but when in doubt, I do take the home team. I know I had Tennessee selected, but I can't straight up pick Tennessee. Like I can't tell you without a doubt they're winning, and I can't. I just Ohio State, man, they're good, and they have shown that they've been good this year. They come off a loss to Michigan. They're motivated. They're mad, right? They lost 3, 4, whatever it is now in a row to Michigan. 4. The one year they're supposed to beat Michigan, they don't do it. I can't. I can't. It's crazy. Give me Ohio State for the moment, but I'm until 7 o'clock. I might be going back and forth on these on the 21st. Coastal Carolina, UTSA. I'll go Coastal. Northern Illinois over Fresno. South Florida, San Jose State. San Jose State's good. South Florida, not too much. They gave Bama some trouble, but that's all I've really seen of them. Some of these I got to go back and repick. Pitt, I'll take outright over Toledo. Rutgers and Kansas State. Arkansas State, Bowling Green. Oklahoma Navy actually could be a really good game. I like how Navy plays. I'll switch this one here for now. But Navy intrigues me now. Navy gets to me because I look at Navy and even though they lost, well, okay, so they've lost some games, but they blew Army out of the water, a top 25 team, at least for some of this year. This is in Fort Worth. It's probably a little closer to Oklahoma, probably a lot closer to Oklahoma. Navy has a better record. I love Blake Horvath more than I do Jackson Arnold at this moment. Even though Arnold has better stats, I think he does have better playmakers, but there's something about the legs and the way that Horvath can run and operate his offense that I think is going to help Navy in this football game. So I got to go Navy here. We'll switch the pick. Uh, I talked about this one the other day, Georgia Tech and Vandy. I just think Vandy is on uh just on a roll this year. I don't think they came this far to lose this game, a game like this, the Birmingham Bowl. This would be cool to go to, but I'm working. And Georgia Tech's really good. I love you, Sea Dog. I love you, Rec Talk. Vandy fans in this community. I guess there's Vandy Dandy. Uh love him too, but I don't know, man. I think Diego Pavia is something else. I really do. I like Tech, but I like Vandy a little bit more here. Texas Tech probably going to run all over Arkansas. I like Arkansas. I love Sam Pittman, but Texas Tech, man, you start looking at the Red Raiders. When you look at Baron Morton, and then you look at Taj Brooks, and then you look at Josh Kelly, you look at all these guys. Like it's a 1 point spread. It favors Arkansas. And they might have the better offense, but I do like in ways. I like the defense of Texas Tech. I think that it's had its moments this year. I like Jacob Rodriguez, who leads in sacks at 5, who can get pressure, who can defend the pass, uh, can force fumbles. He hits hard. Ben Roberts hits hard. CJ Baskerville is really good. AJ McCarty. I could go down the list. Texas Tech has a lot of great guys um, for this game and this season. So I go Texas Tech at the moment. Texas Tech at the moment. Syracuse, A&M. We'll run through these. I don't want to spend too much time on all these. Colorado, obviously. Army, yeah. Iowa over Missouri. I don't like Iowa's offense, but I always love their defense. You gotta say there's some upsets, right? I gotta pick a few upsets. Sorry, it just has to happen that way sometimes. Obviously, I'll take my Tide over Michigan. No explanation needed. Just go play, I guess. I don't know. Louisville over Washington, South Carolina, Illinois. That's a really good matchup. No one's believing in the Fighting Illini. This is a Citrus Bowl. 9 points, 9.5 for South Carolina. Cheese at Citrus Bowl on New Year's Eve. South Carolina comes in 9-3. So does Illinois. I like Lenore Sellers. I like Luke Altmaier. But Rocket Sanders and company for South Carolina going to be difference makers in this game. Really good difference makers in this game for South Carolina. They got a lot of talent. They've got Nick Emmanwori, uh, who replaced who was that guy last year? Well, they got Dylan Stewart too, who leads. Well, does it? So they got two edge rushers, really a few that have some good sacks. The pressure that they could get on a quarterback is awesome. Kyle Kennard, Dylan Stewart, and Brian Thomas Jr. And then you got guys getting sacks like Tonka Hemingway is a defensive tackle, just really, really good. I like South Carolina in this matchup. I really do. I think their defense is going to be prepared. I think they're going to be ready. And I think Illinois, even though they got a good offense, I think that it's it's not going to be enough because I think South Carolina is going to play fast tempo offense, play upfield, give it to Sanders, block. I think the O line's improved. I think everything's just gotten better and everything's looked good the last 5, 6 games for South Carolina. And beating Clemson, beating teams like Missouri, beating Vandy, beating A&M. Why not South Carolina in this game? Why not? Why not? There's no question about this game. I love the Gamecocks over the Illini. Give it to me straight up South Carolina on New Year's Eve. LSU. I still gotta wait to see what matchups we get here because now we get to the playoffs and everything, and then you get to the championship. So, anyway, that's just some of the picks I've made, I guess. Still here, just looking at some of these games. I know something screen share. I didn't. So obviously, like the Orange Bowl and the championship and everything is going to be like it's going to be based on who makes those games when we come time to pick them, but and they don't lock until kickoff. Like all of these, I put a random number at like 67, 68 for the tiebreaker of the championship game. I don't know how many we're going to have because we don't know the matchup yet. Now the bracket challenge. Now we picked Oregon to win it all the other night. We did have Texas over Clemson. We had Arizona State over Texas with an upset. Oregon beating Tennessee, who beats Ohio State. Penn State ultimately makes the semifinals but loses to Georgia. And we ultimately had this. We had the semifinals with Oregon, Arizona State, and Penn State, Georgia. And we had Oregon over Georgia in the national title. So maybe that's crazy. I don't know, but I just If it's a year of no underdogs and all favorites, Oregon should win this, right? And Georgia should probably, being the 2 seed, get in the championship. Now Georgia could easily go in and win it all, in this scenario. I say easily up until, like, okay, Georgia Penn State would be a heck of a Orange Bowl semifinal. Georgia Indiana in the Sugar Bowl. Here's the thing about this is you have 10, maybe 11 if you're lucky, days if you're playing in the first round. Like Indiana, Notre Dame, they play on the 20th. They don't play again until they face Georgia on New Year's Day. You got time to prepare for these games, but to know what's ahead and to know that if you're not one of the top 4 teams, that you have to play 4 games to win a championship, at what point, even though you have the time between games, you have time to rest, but it probably does take a lot out of you because you still got to go back home and prep, and then you got to fly out to Miami or whatever bowl game and bowl site, and then the championship. It's just, it's going to take a lot out of you, right? What teams are most conditioned and prepared to do that? I think based on coaching, I think it's Kirby and the Dogs and Lanning's Ducks. How cool would it be to see that though? Like, be real. Like Dan Lanning versus Kirby Smart, and Dan Lanning beats Kirby Smart, his old boss, in a championship, kind of like what Kirby did to Nick Saban. Like, how crazy would that be? Kirby's building up great staff at Georgia, and guys go on to be coordinators in the NFL and go on to maybe eventually be a head coach. Now you have one in Dan Lanning, and it's amazing to see that, with offense and some defense. It's just really, really cool to see. But yeah, give me the Ducks to win this one. Anyway, I think I've said all I needed to say. I don't really have much questions as much as we do have bowl games. I got some questions. I think the big question for every team in a bowl is how are you going to prepare and how are you going to get ready for your opponent with all the time you're given? Because think about it, offenses are going to adjust to defenses. Defense is going to adjust to offenses. You might change up a play or two. You might change up your scheme because at this point in college football, it's like, especially with like what Michigan did last year, if Nate's still in here. No, but like seriously, like let's say like sign stealing and stuff and technology these days, it's one of those things where you gotta be careful, right? Not that sign stealing necessarily happens all the time or anything like that. I don't know. It happens more in baseball or whatever, but okay, even forget sign stealing. I don't even know why I'm getting on that trail. Let's put that aside. Just preparation. Okay. For a game, you come in with a scheme and a system, and you come in with all these talented players on your roster. Okay. And you have your game plan intact on defense. Let's use defense. You come in, you're going to rush the quarterback, you're going to pick them off, you're going to play man to man coverage, you're going to do whatever it takes to create third and long and get off the field on third and long or whatever you're going to do. Well, what if offenses adjust to that? How do you change it up? How do you get past it? How do you continue to have that success? If they figure out your schematics a little bit and get down the field and they adjust, if the offense you're facing adjusts to your defense, how do you switch it up enough to where you can still hold them? 'Cause I gotta know. I think that's the big question. All these playoff teams, all these bowl teams that are practicing this week and everything, they gotta get ready. They gotta get built up. Questions I have for each of these teams is how do you prepare for your opponent, and how do you ultimately, like, I don't know, I guess just how do you fit your scheme without changing it up completely that it's still successful when you put it on the field? That's the big question to ask for each of these teams when it comes to bowls and playoffs. So, appreciate y'all hitting the thumbs up. We got 3 likes, we got about 2 watching, so I love and appreciate you guys for that. Just over 1.25 thousand subscribers. 1,250 something, I guess, but no, we're still trying to get monetized a little bit, still trying to get the watch hours and everything up, but we're working on it. We got a lot of great stuff coming your way. Um, so we'll be live Friday for Indiana Notre Dame with Mayhem Matthew, and then solo style Tennessee Ohio State on Saturday night, and we'll go from there. We'll see. I know I'll be in Memphis next Saturday, so I um, can't be live that day. Have to get up, go, have a good time. So yeah, got to come up with some good off season stuff too, man. We'll do team previews and everything, but I got to come up with some other college football content. It's Ballard Sports Media, but I think I know the direction I want to go in as football for sure. I'm just passionate about college football, just passionate about football itself, NFL, and everything. Best I could do for baseball is like if it's something big news, or I guess if I call it a game, but calling a game, you don't want to just do one. And you got to have a regular schedule for that. And it just, with work and everything, it just doesn't add up. So I don't know. What do y'all think, man? When we do team previews, should we do them after a team plays a bowl game, do the schedule preview, or should we just wait till January and wait till the actual off season? Because if we wait till the off season, they never push back the start date, but with the expanded playoffs going till January 20th, it gives you less time to try to get all the teams. I probably should do it after a team plays a ball game because their season's done. I think when a team's season ends would be the perfect time to go ahead and jump early on what do they look at and what does it look like for them for 2025. But y'all let me know. Roll Tide. What's up, buddy? Bowl game tonight, Frisco Bowl, Memphis, West Virginia. Yeah, we got that one picked, man. We going could go either way, but I think a majority of people take Memphis over West Virginia, but I wouldn't bet anything on it. I want to so for the team previews too, like I want to just do the Power 4, I guess, but like the bowl schedule have any Power 4 teams actually played yet? Let me see. No, but you could start tonight. West Virginia, I guess. Cal's in the ACC. They play tomorrow. We'll figure it out. We'll get the previews out soon for sure. I always get so excited to look at schedules early when a season's done with. I just get so excited for that. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped for 2025 and what we want to do with this channel, what God wants to do and everything. So Emma's got to go to Florida State. I don't even know what to make of that game. Is Florida State gonna be back? Bama's got it rough. They got the Iron Bowl at Jordan Hare. They got to go to Georgia. They host Oklahoma at least. Basically, for the SEC, every excuse me, everyone is taking in the SEC for 2025. They take the opponents you had this year, but you get them on the road or at home the following year. So, like Vandy was on the road this year. Bama has to host Vandy next year. Just to give an example. What's Texas doing? Oh, yeah, this will be good. Look at this. I'm not ready to predict yet. Somebody come and look at this. Look at this. Now, these two teams could face in the playoffs, possibly in a national title. I don't think that's going to be your national title. I don't know. These two teams right here, man. Texas at Ohio State. You can't make this up. If they were to face, it would be the semifinal. Because Ohio State wins against Tennessee, they play Oregon. And Texas would win, they play Arizona State, and then they would meet possibly in the Cotton Bowl semifinal. But Texas going to the Buckeyes? Are you kidding me? That's awesome. I like it. I can't wait to preview that game. That's gonna be so good. I don't even know if they ever met before? They've had to have. Texas versus Ohio State football. Let's see Winsipedia what it says. What is this? They've met 3 times. They last met in 2009 in Glendale when Mac Brown beat Jim Tressel 24-21 in Glendale, Arizona in 2009. Texas is all-time 2-1 against the Buckeyes. They kind of own them, but they don't own them. Like, it's not enough. It's not like a big margin of whatever, but so for the 2008 season, before Texas went on that championship run, they met at the Fiesta Bowl. And then they had home and home back in 06 and 05. I figured they would have met sometime in like 30s or 40s. I don't know, but they've only met this century, and Texas is 2-1. I give them that. That's pretty cool. Just to give y'all a glimpse too of what the preview thumbnails are going to look like, I got this. It's like a foggy background, 2025 logo, my picture, and we just put the team logo right in the middle just to kind of show y'all what it's going to look like. So, anyway, yeah, we got the playoff games this weekend. Looking forward to it. And obviously, Friday night, Notre Dame, Indiana, and then everything else, I guess, on Saturday. It's kind of weird that they only have one playoff game on Friday night, though. I figured they would have swapped it up like 2 and 2 or whatever. Aren't there 4 first round games? Like you got 3 on Saturday, and you got 1 Friday. But I get the bowl schedule with like Tulane in Florida, the Jayville State in Ohio. Like I get having those other games Friday. Liberty Buffalo. That could be good. Liberty's favored by 1. That's on January 4th. You know what I just thought of? And let me see if we could even get this. Because you always want a good national title, right? Can you get, let me see. Yes, you can. Oh my gosh. What if we got like Texas and Notre Dame for a natty? You could get that if they both play their cards right. I mean, Notre Dame has to get past Indiana, then Georgia, then possibly Boise State, Penn State, SMU, whoever in the semis. Then they'll be in the championship on January 20th. Then you got Texas, who has to get past Clemson, number 1, Arizona State in the quarterfinals, possibly Oregon, Tennessee, or Ohio State, whoever in the semifinals. And then they'll be in. Texas Notre Dame would be a really good matchup. Defense versus offense, 2 historic like programs. going at it. I like it. Anyway, all right, guys, we'll get out of here. I love and appreciate all of you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a awesome Tuesday, the 17th. And we will be live again, I think Friday nights. Let's see. Yeah, we'll be live. Me and Mayhem plan on going live together on both channels for Indiana and Notre Dame. And then we'll be live on Saturday for Tennessee and Ohio State Saturday night. So, anyway, that's going to do it. Maybe some videos in between. If not, I will see y'all Friday night. Have a great week. Jesus loves you. God bless. And from a Bama fan, roll tide. We'll see you. Have a good one.